and today I'll be showing you how to use Cydia on your jailbroken device. Now in my last video I showed you guys how to jailbreak iOS 6.0 up to 6.1.2 using a tool called Evasion. If your device is not jailbroken yet and you would like to learn how to jailbreak your device, I will put up a link in the description to a tutorial on how to do so. So if your device isn't jailbroken, make sure you check out that video and it will be in the description below. So now on to this tutorial. Now once you jailbreak your device, you get an application called Cydia that gets installed. Now what Cydia basically is an alternative to Apple's App Store. And some of you may be wondering, why do we need Cydia? The App Store has thousands and thousands of apps to choose from. Well, the reason you would want Cydia on your device and jailbreak in the first place is because Cydia offers you a lot more customization and an opportunity to install tweaks, themes, and lots of different things to change the way iOS looks and functions to the way you like. So seriously guys, if you haven't jailbroken your device, you are seriously missing out on all the great features that iOS has to offer. So when you open up Cydia, you have this default home screen, which you'll be greeted with every time you open up Cydia. And from here, you have a few different options. And the first one is you can follow Sarik on Facebook or Twitter. He's the person who invented Twitter, so if you want to follow him, you can go ahead and do that. Also, you have featured, and these are just a couple of different things that are inbuilt into Cydia. You also have themes, and here you can browse a couple of different themes for Winterboard. I won't go through Winterboard, but if you would like me to do a video covering Winterboard, let me know in the comment section, and also like this video, and I will possibly make a video on how to do just that. So also you can make an account with Cydia. You don't really need an account unless you're actually purchasing some tweaks, because some tweaks may require you to purchase them. But if you're just looking at getting free stuff, well then you don't really need an account. I haven't made an account yet, and I've been getting stuff from Cydia. I've just been getting free tweaks, and it's been working just fine. Also, you have a couple different guides. You have a couple different tweaks and credits, donations, user guides, all that sort of stuff. That is the home section. The next section of Cydia is the sections tab. Here you can browse through all the different categories of files on Cydia. So you can look for boot animations, you can look for fonts, you can look for all sorts of things. And this does get bigger as you add more sources and add more tweaks to your device. The next part I will be talking about of Cydia is called the Changes tab. And in here, basically it displays a list of every source that you've added, every tweak you've installed, and a lot of these tweaks I actually haven't installed, but the reason they appear in Changes is because I've added the source which these tweaks come from. So they all appear in Changes, and you will notice when you use Cydia that Changes does get pretty full after you only added a couple of sources and only downloaded a couple tweaks. It does appear in here. Also, Changes can be used to update tweaks that have updates available. So you might download a tweak one day, and then in about 2 weeks or so, the developer might release an update for it. So what you would do is open up Changes, and it would have a 1 next to it. Then you would find a tweak in here, tap on it, and instead of saying install, it would say modify because you'd already have it. And then you would tap on upgrade, and you would upgrade that tweak, and then it'll install and you'll have the updated version. So that would be how you update an outdated tweak, and there's a new version of it available. The next tab you have is the Manage tab. This is probably the most useful part that you'll find of Cydia. So at the top you have this settings option, and this screen will look familiar. When you first jailbreak your device, you get this, and it asks you who you are, user, hacker, or developer. All this really is just how much content that you can see on Cydia. So if you select user, you get access to apps, tweaks, and themes. If you select hacker, you get access to command line tools. And if you select developer, well, you pretty much get everything on Cydia. So you can select which one that's available for the type that you use. So I'm just selecting user for now. most people would probably select user. So also in here you have a couple different options. So you got packages, and these are all the packages that come pre-installed with Cydia along with the ones you've downloaded, and this is where you uninstall tweaks. So unlike an app on the App Store where you would just hold it and then it start moving and you just tap on the X button and then it uninstall it, Cydia is a little different. You have to go into manage, packages, find a tweak you want to get rid of, and tap on remove, or tap modify and then tap remove, and then you would get rid of that tweak. So that is how you uninstall tweaks using the packages. The next part of Cydia is called sources. Here is all the default sources that come with Cydia, and I'll explain what sources are just in a minute. So here you can add custom sources and also look at the ones that come default with Cydia. So the reason sources are useful is, unlike Apple's App Store where everything is managed by Apple, Cydia is managed by lots of different developers and users. So you got to be careful with what sources you get things from. So if you add a source, for example, Insanely AI repo, which is a very good source, and then you search up a tweak and it's from Insanely AI repo, then you will find it. And I'm just going to quickly demonstrate. So if I go to search and search in system partition, it's actually spelled like that, and see it comes up with two results from two sources that I have. So this one's from Insanely AI. So if I scroll down, it says Insanely AI repository. So I know it's safe and trustworthy since I've used a lot of things from that source. And also, if I tap on this one, it's from iHacks repo, which is another awesome source, and I have that installed as well. So it comes up with that. So if it doesn't come up, or it comes up with something you're not familiar with, then it's probably from an unknown source and you should avoid it. So make sure you only get stuff from trusted sources. You can find sources by just doing a Google search on your computer. Just search on Google trustworthy sources for iOS and then put what version of iOS you're running, and you should find some decent sources. The next part is storage. What this does is give you a reading of how much memory you have available, how much you've used, and what sections of memory is taking up the most. So this is particularly useful when you're installing a big tweak or a very big app and you're not sure if you have enough memory to handle it. So what this does is, I'll show you in a minute when it loads. It gives you two readings of two partitions on the iOS file system. So I'll just let this load and I'll show you hopefully soon when it loads. Also, I'd like to say while it's loading that I am making some changes to my channel soon. Soon I will be able to, you will see a channel art. One of my friends has made one for me, so I will be adding that to my channel. And also I want to make some more videos in the future, even a video to do with Linux. I am trying to install Ubuntu on my computer, but when I do get that installed, I'm not quite sure when, but I might do a bit of a look of what's on Linux and I might show you that. So yeah, stay tuned for those videos in the future, and if you have any videos, as always, leave them in the comments. So now I'll just show you what it's found on storage. So you have two partitions, you have system and private. So it tells you right here how much space is being used. So if you have a lot of music, then iTunes is obviously going to be pretty big. So, and you have camera, free, other app store, themes. So you got all this stuff here, and then it tells you how much used. So for system I have 85.8% used and free is 14.2%. So obviously not that much there. And then on private I have 41.1% free, and the rest is used by themes and the App Store. Last but not least, you have the search function. This enables you to search for any tweak that you like. So for example, I'm just going to search up lockdown. Pro. So that's one tweak that I know. So if you search that up, it comes up with every single result from all the sources which I have. So if I tap on this one, the official one, so it's highlighted blue, it'll take me to Big Boss repo, which is one of the default sources from Cydia. So this is the genuine one. I know that you actually have to purchase this tweak, so you know when it's on Big Boss, it's definitely reliable and you aren't going to get any bugs. Another thing I will say about Cydia is just because your device is jailbroken, it doesn't mean that every tweak will work for you. The App Store is very good because every app you get is pretty much guaranteed to work on your device, unless you're on a really old firmware like iOS 1.0 or iOS 2.0, then there may be some compatibility issues. But if you're on a pretty new version of iOS firmware, then you're pretty much guaranteed for that app to work. But Cydia is a little different. Sometimes developers don't update their apps to the latest iOS firmware, or sometimes they've had difficulties trying to make their tweak compatible with the new iOS. Because every time Apple release new firmware, they remove certain parts of the firmware and replace it with new parts, making it very hard for developers to keep up with the iOS firmware. But most popular tweaks should work on your device, and to find out if it works or not, you should just search for the tweak you want. So I'm just going to search for Lockdown Pro again, and tap on this one and wait for it to load the information. So if I scroll down here, it says it's compatible with any iPhone or iPod Touch on iOS 4 to 5 and 6. So that's pretty good. So it'll tell you in the description more than likely what firmware it's on, and the compatibility usually goes from what firmware you're on or what device you have. So some tweaks may only support the iPhone, while others may only support the iPad or iPod Touch. So be careful with which ones you get, because if you get an old, outdated, incompatible tweak, then your device will probably crash and go into safe mode. Mine did a couple days ago, but I managed to get it out of safe mode. It's actually not that hard to get out of safe mode. But yeah, you should, to avoid any of those problems, just make sure you get tweaks from trusted sources and that are compatible with your device. So another thing I will say about Cydia is a frequently asked question I see on lots of forums and websites is, once you're jailbroken, can you still use the App Store? The answer is yes. You can still use the App Store along with iTunes on a jailbroken device. If you plug in your jailbroken device into iTunes and you want to sync some music, you can happily do so without having any problems. So you can still use the App Store to purchase your favorite apps and games on a jailbroken device. So that's pretty good, and you can still use those features. But I can't guarantee that every single feature will work, because some applications don't actually support jailbroken devices. One example is Skype. I tried installing Skype the other day, and when I opened it, it crashed. So some apps will not work because your device is jailbroken. So be prepared for some crashes or some problems down the road in the future. But for me, pretty much every single app I've installed works. And yeah, I guess it's a bit of trial and error which app works or not, but most apps should work. So that was how to use Cydia on your jailbroken device. If you like this video, then please click the like button, and also subscribe to be updated for future videos automatically. And make sure you stay tuned for my next video, which will be the top Cydia tweaks to download of 2013 Evasion Jailbreak. So stay tuned for that video, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.